Hey, welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I'm Steve Smith. We went up and went ice skating and went and had ice cream like we always do. And on the way home, I was checking the news and I saw a couple of very important things, and that is the government mandated closing of businesses. Apparently, Ohio has passed a law closing all restaurants and bars effective tonight at 9 o'clock. This is Sunday. Um, Illinois has done it effective, I think, at end of business tomorrow on Monday. Um, I think the Illinois goes through March 30th or something like that. I'm not sure why they've put an end time on that, but for whatever reason, I guess they're still, from what the stories said, they're still allowing carry out and drive through. Um, So whatever, I'm sure there could be big discussions about that, and there may be in the future. We'll see. But this illustrates a couple things. We've gone to a new level on this. I think one of the first things that I put out about this COVID-19 was that in addition to the health problems and potential deaths, the effect on the economy was going to be devastating. And this is so this brings out two things. Both of these states, and pretty much every state now, is heavily dependent on their food and beverage business, their tourism. That this includes all the hotels, all the go out and eat restaurants. The effect this is going to have on their statewide and local economies, it'd be difficult to overstate. Um, it's just going to wipe some people out. Not just the people, not just the servers and the cooks and all of the support people who are going to lose their jobs. And you might say, well, they're not going to lose their jobs permanently. Well, you lose a job for a month and you don't have anything coming in, your life can be a wreck if you're not prepared. And most of the people in these types of jobs live pretty close to the edge, of life, including the edge of their money, and it's just going to wipe a lot of them out. Um, in addition to that, a lot of the restaurants and bars, these people don't have, just bags of money sitting in the back room waiting to do something with or to see them through hard times. The average um, small business restaurant or bar. Um, they need every day's receipts to keep going, and you knock out a week if it's not covered by insurance. A lot of them, if they're knocked out by fire or flood or something like that, they're covered by insurance. Something like this, we don't know whether that's going to be the case. Even if it's covered by the state, I'm sure that in most cases, that like I've seen in the past, the government does not pay these people everything that they really would have brought in. They'll give them a percentage of it, and even at that, the loss of a business is just devastating. A business. I'm a business guy. I've had my own businesses for most of my life, and it's something that you pour you know your heart into, your blood, sweat, and tears. People used to tell me, "Well, I wished I owned my own business so I could work whenever I wanted." And I always told them, I says, "You're right. You can work whichever 18 hours a day you want to." So, small businesses are the product of saving, investing, hard work, and just, they can be the soul of the people who built them. And they are built with the hopes not just of providing for families, but of becoming intergenerational businesses, things that you pass on to your kids and things. So this is going to wipe them out. And of course, the next thing to that is that this is a step uh, that we see. And I'm not saying that it shouldn't have been taken. These are difficult situations, but it's the next step that we see of the government mandating the closing of private business. Okay, and that is an important step and something that's going to have a large effect as we go on. So watch for more of this. Watch for things coming down the road. I think I mentioned the previous one. Yes, I did. We watched the movie Contagion last night. My oldest son he said it kept him awake until 4 o'clock in the morning thinking about it, so he wants to watch it again. Maybe we will. We're going to play a board game here in a little bit and eat tacos. But I'll reiterate that if you haven't watched that movie, it's a good one. Modern Refugee made a comment on that one, that he and his group watched it as a group sometime back and discussed it. Pros, cons, what do you think is real and what's not. I'm not an expert in martial law. I had a brief, I lived under it, partially under it, not a total, but partial when I was 14 when the riots were in Kansas City. And then in law enforcement, I just had a brief brush with it. So I'm certainly no expert on martial law. And I'm certainly no expert on the medical aspects of these things. But the medical people that I know, and I know a lot of them, and I know good ones, they said it's right on from the medical aspect. And from what I know of the martial law, it's pretty believable. So if you want something to do tonight or this week, grab your friends or your group and check out that movie and watch it. The final part of this one are opportunities. If this continues, and I expect it to, it's going to have, as I've said several times, it's going to have a crushing effect on the economy. Hopefully you won't lose your jobs or your sources of income. And that's why it's also good. And I've meant to do a separate video on this, and that is diversification of income streams. And I'll probably still do this. This situation offers an opportunity for that. As jobs start to be lost, as people lose their incomes, they're still going to have many needs out there, and they may or may not be able to afford it. If you have skills and you're able to provide these skills at a better price than the existing companies, you might do very well while you help other people. If you know how to do plumbing, if you know how to do some basic carpentry, if you know how to do I won't say electrical, that gets into I'm just not going to touch electrical, but if you know how to do basic handyman skills, there's going to be people's needs are not going to stop, but their ability to pay what a lot of the professionals want to charge, could be compromised. So if you have these skills and you let it be known to people that, hey, I can do whatever, for a price that's a lot less than what you would normally pay, you're going to be helping out some of these people, and you might just develop a secondary or third or whatever it is income stream that does you very well. A couple of businesses that I've had that did very well were mistakes. They were just on accident. They were offshoots of things that I had not intended to build into businesses, but I did them, and you get to know people and you like them and they like you and you enjoy it and they like your work and you help them out and they start telling your friends, and all of a sudden you've got more business than you can handle. And guess what? You're in business, right? So realize that these just, what was Winston Churchill? Let's see if I can remember a quote. He said to a pessimist, every opportunity has a problem, and to an optimist, every problem has an opportunity. And that's the truth. It's just all how you look at it. So this is one of those things that you can help yourself a lot, not by hurting other people, but by helping other people. So think about that. Think what you can offer, what you have, and it might help you weather through this too while you're helping others. So anyway, I'm going to get back. I'm getting ready to have a celebratory wild turkey on the rocks and having some tacos. And if we play that game, there's a game that I want to show you all. It's a preparedness game. It's a fascinating game. If we play it tonight, I'll do a little video on that. So anyway, you all take care. Keep these things in mind. I would also ask that the best information out there are things that people see themselves. So whatever you're seeing in your area, please leave a comment down here. Tell us what's going on in your area. Have you talked to people in business? Have you talked to people in the stores? Have you talked to people, the guy that delivers your Amazon packages? Have you talked to these folks? Ask them, how's business? What's going on? What's going on at their place? It will help you know what's going on around you. And if you'll share it with us, it will help all of us to have a better understanding of what's going on in other areas. So I'm sure we'd all appreciate that. So I'll let it go with that and remind you to continue to prepare well so that you can continue to live well. Okay. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.